Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cycle, and welcome to more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. We're going to do the other 319 scenario today. I've gone into a train-oriented view here, so you can see what trains are covered in the various things I have, DLC and workshop stuff that has career scenarios on it. There's also a standard tab, which I'm not going to go into right now. You can see I do have an FCC Winter Worries career scenario version, so it looks like I do have a 377 scenario using the other livery, the first Capital Connect livery. So I'm going to look into potentially doing that for you. I have to see if there's some standard scenarios for it as well. Maybe we'll do that Tuesday. I don't know. I'll figure it out. It's a long scenario. That's the only potential iffy. It might end up being a two-parter, so I might have to make it a Friday, Saturday. We'll see what happens. But in any case, we do have all the other scenarios I've done from the DLC. These guys are all DLC, the original DLC. There's the 422, which I have not looked at yet. There is the 489 and 73 combination I have not yet looked at. And I also have the Flying Scotsman scenario, which I did try doing once, but I just got annoyed by something related to it and just left it. And the 460 I still have to do on this route. So these are all DLC I still have to do on this route. I will see what I can introduce as time goes on in the future, since this is my first visit back to London to Brighton in a long time. So naturally, I am just getting reacquainted with some of the things I still have to do here. The 421, the 423 also have to be done, but their scenarios I think are on other routes, though the trains do appear on scenarios on these routes as well. So lots of things that I will be able to show off here in the future. We'll look into that then. For now, let's finish the 319, probably for good at this point, except for any workshop or other content. City Flyer, the Class 319, First Capital Connect, another 60-minute scenario, basically the return trip of this one. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. Love the headlights are not on as the scenario starts. Morning, driver. It doesn't look as though you are going to have an easy shift today. Let the passengers board here at Brighton. Keep an eye on your signals. Have a good day. Very positive on this beautiful rainy day in England. It's a beautiful day. That's what they call it in the UK. Let's go ahead and get the doors open, as I'm pretty sure we have to. Bring up the information. Let's start that up. I almost put the train into a forward motion. That would not have been smart. So we are going to move the brakes to step one, and we do have a green signal. We are ready to go. As I suggested earlier, this is pretty much a return trip. There's a couple of go via tasks here, but they're not actually marked as timetable tasks. They're just pathing tasks, which could have actually been hidden. We don't actually need to see those. They could have just been hidden tasks in the scenario listings in the task list. So let's go ahead and get ready from Brighton. Going to turn the wipers on here as we get going. Let's move the train into a P3 setting for now. Another train leaving as well, apparently. Next to us, is it these guys that are going to be leaving with us? No, it's not these guys. Okay. But in any case, we are getting ourselves up to 25 miles per hour. That's where we want to be for right now. I'm going to stop my increase there. I have no clue how this train is going to behave on the tracks today, on the rails, as the track to the Eastbourne and Seaford areas goes off to the left, or the right rather, sorry, the right. Looking right and I'm saying left for some reason. So I have no idea how the train stops will be handled here today in terms of whether I'm going to have wheel slip or whatever. But we're going to start to find out as we cross into the 75 area here and start speeding up, starting first from a 40. We're going to see what kind of braking power and wheel slip combination occurs, so I know if I have to slow down a little earlier today. I'm probably not going to P4 right away in the power setting because I don't want to chance an immediate wheel slip coming out of the gate here. Coming into a 75, I'm going to go ahead and give the brakes their first test of the day. Not going to exceed 50 for right now. you did hear we got that green signal. There's the brakes. I couldn't get the brakes to apply for some reason. Well, let's go into a step 2 immediately because I flubbed that up. So immediate first test is successful. I'm in a step 2 brake, which I'm going to leave on for a moment here. Now I'm going to ease it up to a step 1. We still have a whole minute to make our arrival here, so this is actually acceptable, very acceptable. And therefore I'm going to slow down a little bit more here instead of coming to an immediate stop. And there we are, arrival at Preston Park, platform number 2. Leaving Preston Park. Our next stop is Hassocks. I actually read that completely wrong. 8:05 was my scheduled arrival time. Good thing I was not marked late on that, because I noticed in the editing in the previous scenario, I was 5 seconds early on one stop, and I was given a timeliness penalty of 0. So I actually would have been late if I was right on time. So we still want to be a little bit early on some of these stops, especially the ones near the end of the minute, because sometimes they will tally against us. And on one standard scenario on this route that comes with the route, I remember seeing that I was late on a stop even though I was a minute early. So needless to say, that can happen, and that can fail a scenario on you. And it requires you to drive like an idiot, which we won't discuss. So 8:12:45 is our arrival time. We have 5 minutes to make that stop. Coincidentally, we have 5 miles exactly to go. We're now over 60 miles per hour, which means we're going to be eating into that 5 minutes very nicely for our stop. This, I believe, was the... I suddenly forgot the name of the tunnel. Why am I forgetting the name of this tunnel? It's the first one. I should know it. Patcham Tunnel. There it is. I'm going to try to sit in the 75 area here, because why not? Moving back into a power 4 throttle. So far, everything looking very clear here. There's another 319 going by right next to us there. Probably the return service. I'm now at exactly 90 miles per hour, so I'm going the exact speed limit. power 2 throttle seems to hold us at exactly that speed. I just got an achievement for driving 319 miles in the Class 319. I think that might be an achievement for the Midland Mainline route. Not for the 319 DLC itself, because you only have 2 scenarios. And I remember seeing that on the Midland Mainline route. So I think we just got that achievement for Midland Mainline, which is very neat. So I'm putting an initial brake application on because we are getting within range of Hassocks. I'm really hopeful that the wheel slip does not take effect here. I do have a full 2 minutes to make this stop. Now it's looking like I'm going to need to get that level 2 brake applied. I'm trying to get down to 50 before I do that. I'm not going to do it. So I'm just going to go into step 2 right now. We have a whole minute to make this stop, so I'm just going to coast in a little bit. But I do need to keep a step 2 brake applied to slow down. No matter what, that will be needed. I'm letting the train coast along the platform at this point because I'm looking for the stop sign. Gonna stick my head out the left window to show you what I'm talking about. I actually see the 12 car right there. That's what I'm looking for at the end of the platform. Mind you, I probably already passed the 8 car stop, so I'll just go ahead and stop here anyway. That is just fine. So arrival at Hassocks, platform number 1. Leaving Hassocks. Our next stop is Burgess Hill. We of course maintain a green signal entering or staying within a 90-mile-per-hour section here. Our next time of arrival is in 3 minutes from now. We have 2 miles to go. Reaching 60 miles per hour. Of course, the vigilance alarm has come on to indicate that we have not touched the controls for 1 minute. If this occurs, we need to, well, push a control. It doesn't have to necessarily be the alerter. It can just be any control that will shut the thing up. So I've begun the process of slowing down. You see Wivelsfield straight ahead. I believe that is a waypoint. In fact, quick peek at the schedule will confirm that actually we are picking up there. Never mind, it is a pickup point. So we are going to be stopping there today. This time we do have a whole minute. I'll check the schedule again. Yep, 8:16. There it is. 8:19 at Wivelsfield straight ahead, about a mile away. And I took a little too much time looking at that this time. So I'm going to have to put a full brake process on here to stop within the platform, which I will do now. I want to stop before these stairs, so I'm going to have to keep the brakes heavily applied there. Arrival at Burgess Hill, platform number 1. Leaving Burgess Hill, our next stop is Wivelsfield. The only signal we have to worry about on this stretch just went over us. It is still green. So it looks like a very clean and easy run so far. I'm actually curious to see what will happen as we get closer to the Clapham Junction area. Particularly towards Gatwick Airport before East Croydon. Actually, we're not going to get Clapham Junction, no. I'm wondering what's going to happen as we get closer to East Croydon, so that section from Gatwick Airport. I'll get it right. There's a little bit of a rocking. So step 2 brake is currently applied for our stop at Wivelsfield. Going to ease that off to a step 1 at this time, so our entire train can get into the platform. And we have arrived at Wivelsfield, platform number 1. You may have noticed another line from the East Coastway coming from Plumpton joined us right before Wivelsfield. Now leaving Wivelsfield, our next stop is Haywards Heath. We are a little less than 3 miles from that. We have to be there in about 4 minutes. I've determined so far that wheel slip is not an issue on the tracks here today. We do see the occasional whistle board on this route. So you may have noticed that we have 112 points per stop. There are 9 time stops. That means 1,008 points are available for this journey today. Perfect score is possible with a little bit of an error potential there. There is our next stop of Haywards Heath straight ahead. So we're going to get ready for that stop in a moment. We're not going full speed, so there's not too much to think about here. So I'm at 80, that'll do, that's fine. Just noticed a little bit of lag there. That was lag I do have control over in this game, or that I can actually identify. If there are cases where frames are eaten, again, as usual, I apologize. I don't know about that until the editing process. I can't do anything about that. I'm sitting on a step 1 brake application right now. I'm going to move it up to a step 2 once again. Putting a step 2 brake application on. That should do the job, I imagine. Yes, it does. Arrival at Haywards Heath, platform number 3. Leaving Haywards Heath, our next stop is Three Bridges. We are going via Balcombe Platform 1 because that's been marked as a waypoint, not hidden in the task list. There are no points granted. There's no timing element, basically, to going via Balcombe. We just have to get through Balcombe as we need to and then hope that we are still on time. So once we pass through Balcombe, Three Bridges will show up as our destination. You can see we are about 4 miles from Balcombe, rather. And as we started that, I think we're about 24.5 miles or so from East Croydon. Balcombe will be showing up on the HUD in about a half a mile or so. This, I believe, is the Ouse Valley Viaduct. And then a track heading off to what used to be another line. I think it went through East Grimstead or something like that. That line will eventually leave to the right. That is not a railway today. There's some kind of yard over there, and that's about it. Pop our head out the window for just a moment to... Oh, we didn't mean to be zoomed in. But there's the view with the fire chief fire extinguisher in the cab at the window. As we go through Balcombe. Nice view of the track. In fact, zoom in a little bit. We get a nice little view right there of everything as it comes in the distance. So there you go. This is your way to get a nice external view of everything going on in front of you. And there's Balcombe Station right now going through. Back into the train cab meanwhile. We now see that we are 5 minutes away from our stop at Three Bridges, or a little over 4 miles. We are doing very well for time. We're going to be a minute early. We have to slow down to 80 in this stretch here, so we're going to let the train kind of cool its heels. Or wheels is probably a better way to put it. Cool its wheels. I think we might actually get down to 80 before we reach the 80 without having to apply a single brake. That would be very nice. Playing with the controls a wee bit here. Now I will apply the brakes. I did put a P1 throttle on for just a moment back there in order to try to maintain speed. That might have actually given me a little bit too much power to be able to rely on it slowing down on its own. Had I not done that, I would have been able to do that. So we're coming through the Brighton up fast 3 bridges part of the line. 3 bridges will be in the area along here. We're now in the 90 once again. 3 bridges coming right up, so I'm not going to worry about getting up to 90 because I have to slow down in the rain anyway. After this 3 bridges stop, we have 2 more stops, Gatwick Airport and East Croydon. Once we're finished those stops, this scenario will conclude. And I actually did not hit the brakes as quickly as I should have there, so I'm going to go ahead and put a quick step 2 on. Bring it down to 80, and now I'm going to go ahead and coast it down gently. For a moment anyway. I'm going to have to apply a harder brake in a moment. This is a good time to do that. Especially given I've got 2 minutes to make the stop, there's no reason for us to literally rush in here. So I can slow it down just a little more than necessary. Pulling in now to 3 bridges, platform number 4. I'm coming in a little bit too slow now for my liking, but we do have a whole bundle of time to make this stop, so I'm not very concerned. Our entire train is now in the platform. That is the 4-car stop. I'm going to apply a little more brakes for the 8-car stop, which I believe is right here. And this is arrival at 3 bridges, platform number 4. Leaving 3 bridges, we have about 2 3/4 miles to go for Gatwick Airport, our next stop, and our penultimate stop on this journey today. And then we have another 16 1/4 or so miles to go to East Croydon. We're about 19 miles away from there right now. The journey will then continue without us probably through Norwood Junction and on into the South London network, going through places like Tulse Hill, along its route, heading towards Bedford. At least I think it's Bedford. That path from Brighton to Bedford, by the way, shows you all 3 routes that we actually use on this journey, even though the connection to St. Pancras Thameslink is not actually visible on either of the 2 routes associated with it. But the connection to St. Pancras from the northern terminus of South London Network is not visible. It does travel on that little bit of path, and there is the merged route where you could actually feasibly take the entire path from Brighton to Bedford on that single merged route. So it is possible to travel the entire route if you have the merged route and you have a scenario doing it. But in the regular train simulator landscape, you will need 3 separate scenarios to cover the entire route from Brighton to Bedford or vice versa. I'm at 70 miles per hour. I've decided to hold my speed there, which might be a bad idea given the distance I'm away. So I'm going to go ahead and power it back on. This is going to prove to be a bit of a more difficult stop here. We have a little bit over a minute to do this. It should be possible under that kind of timing. However, we are looking at a situation where we also have to slow down. So this may be tight. I may have to just do a quick sudden stop here. I'm within a half mile and still going at a mile per minute here. Falling under that now. I used the brakes off for just a moment there. I'm going to reapply them now. I did not mean a full service brake there. Let's go as far as we can along the platform. I'm going to go ahead and bring the train to a stop very shortly in this area. That's actually my stop point right there. I went right past it. So full service brake. And arrival at Gatwick Airport, platform at number 4. Leaving Gatwick Airport, our next and final stop for our part of the journey will be East Croydon. We're going via Purley as a waypoint. This will take us about nearly 13 and a half miles. Then we'll have another less than 3 miles to get to East Croydon. We're going to pass by Horley on the way. Here's one of the many trains. That's the service to Brighton. I think it said 1A60 or something like that. This was Horley Station. As usual, we get the alert of alertness, as I will just randomly call it. We're up to 85 miles per hour. We are going to be adjusting our controls in a moment, so the train will be happy to know we're paying attention to it. Going nearly 1.5 miles per minute now, so that is very good speed given we are able to cover this path to Pearly probably in about 4.5 minutes. Actually, I'll take that back. 6.5, 7 minutes. But we're not speed. There we go. We're going to keep an eye on the speed on our indicator now. There are going to be the occasional uphills and downhills we have to keep an eye on for, especially the downhills, to ensure we don't bypass an illegal number. There is an 80 up there, which we are going to definitely lower our speed for. A little too slow at this point, so holding a P1 throttle for a moment longer. We know what I had to do last time when I did that. But we're on uphill now, so I think I can get away with it. There's a downhill after this that I have to also watch out for. That station there, that might have been Merston, I'm not sure. But it's off of our route. We're taking the Quarry line, so we're not worried about it. We're down to 80. In fact, we're under 80 as we cross the 80. Even better. And our route, the Quarry line, peels away from the main Brighton main line, which is the Red Hill line at this point. We're now in the 90 once again, so I'm applying a P4 throttle to bring us back up to speed. When we crest the top of this hill, I'm going to bring it back to a P2. We're actually having trouble climbing at P4 right now at 84.1 miles per hour on this uphill. So change that plan. I'm just going to go ahead and stay in P4 for a moment longer. Looks like another uphill which is not as steep coming up here. Now I'll go to a P3 throttle. And I'll move back to P4 for a moment longer. A, because I'm going to get told to punch a button on the train in a moment anyway. And B, because I'm not going as fast as I thought I would be at that exact moment. So here we are back to P3 throttle at 88.2 miles per hour. We seem to be hitting the portion of route that is not very heavy uphill. I'll hold here for a moment as we go into one of the tunnels here. I was going to call this the Quarry Tunnel, but I think the other one was the Quarry Tunnel, so I don't remember what this one is, if that is the case. Now we're going to have a little bit of downhill here. I was just about to move that control as that alert came up. So I've done that now. I'm going to stay in a P1 throttle setting at a little less than 89 miles per hour. Now dropping closer to 88. So I'm going to go back to a P2 setting for right now. We're still a little more than, well, about 3¼ miles from Purley. Coulsdon Town will be passing on a track to our right, coming from, I can't remember the exact name. I want to say Tanworth Corner or something like that. But it's the track that ends. We don't get to see the entire track to that area in question. But we do see a few stations along the way if we were to take that track. And we did, in fact, see a scenario to Coulsdon Town that we had to do that with. I think Reedham was one of the stops along there as well. Would be a perfect chance in the workshop to try to get the last few stations on that line in service and make scenarios using that all the way to London, Victoria. So that would be an interesting little service to do. Oh, why am I slowing down? We have Purley. Of course, it's Purley. I'm about to slow down for a waypoint, guys. So just reviewing our arrival time for East Croydon, we have to be there at 8:53. That means we have another 5 minutes to go 4 miles. I am rather okay with that. If it weren't for the fact that we have to slow down along the way to 60 and 45. But otherwise, I'm okay with that. So knowing that, why are we slowing down now? I have no idea. And I hope you are enjoying the ride today. I'm going to take another look at a train we're driving today, which is this little beauty, the First Capital Connect Class 319, number 319362. You see a station going by over there, some kind of building back there. And I believe we just went through Purley. Yep, this is Purley. So we're going to start slowing down now for the 60 miles per hour straight ahead. So I'm down to 75. I'm going to let the train slow down on its own at this stage. This is Purley Oaks. We're getting an alert for the lower speed limit. That is for the 60. I am definitely not slowing down at a good enough pace, so I have to add a little more brake power to that. I'll let it pick up from here at 66. See what happens. This should still be a couple of green signals up ahead here. And I'm not going to slow down at a good enough pace to make that sign. So I have to take it to 61. It should go down from 61, no problem. Maybe. There we go. There indeed is that green signal. The next one should also be green. After that, we may get a double yellow. Ah, the Church of Cuju. There you go. Welcome to South Croydon, the terminal point of the South London Network route, also in this game. So this area up here is also replicated on that route. minor downhill section here, probably not relevant. Let's take a little more speed off just to be sure we stay within, and also so we can prepare for our stop. Everything is green, so the green signals will proceed. That is obviously for the purpose of scenario continuity for the train continuing on its service. Obviously the way the path is not set for it. I would imagine that the game thinks the route needs to go through Selhurst, which would be incorrect. I'm surprised the game didn't make us go to Norwood Junction to make a stop there just to ensure the continuity made sense on the assigned route. But, oh well. And that should do for our purposes. We have arrived at East Croydon platform number 2. Let's look at the train as we finish. And as we wrap up another journey on the London to Brighton route, we are encouraged to mind the gap, or in this case, just don't step on the track. We are at East Croydon. The service is finishing here, and this service will continue, I believe, to Bedford without us, because it would need 3 different routes, and naturally we can't just cross routes on this iteration of the route. So we're going to see this train off from this platform. We've already made our way over here. The other driver is already there waiting to take over. Now, of course, when the scenario ends, the train won't actually take off. That would be too realistic. So we're just going to get our the train stopped here to show the service is finished, and we're going to continue to the scoring screen once we've done that. I know the doors were open, but it's worth noting that at this point on the platform, the doors on the front cabs would not open. The platforms are not properly set up for all the doors to open. Nicely done. You managed to make good time. Just about enough for you to grab a couple before your next shift. Okie dokie, let's get to our scoring screen. There we go, we get 2 achievements. We just got the veteran driver for completing the career scenarios in this pack. The 319 veteran driver was the other achievement, obviously, and that was for driving 319 miles in the Class 319, which seems like a lot, but as you see, we've done all the scenarios that the 319 can possibly be done with, plus 1 extra. And that covers the goal very nicely. I think it's a Midland Mainline achievement once again. But if it is a achievement with the DLC itself, then it just was helped with the Midland Mainline in that case. But I think it is a Midland Mainline achievement. So feel free to look that up. I'm not going to waste my time with it because I got it. Who cares? We got all the tasks, obviously. There's no speeding. So yeah, perfect score. That's how you do both scenarios. I think the other one was Coast Flyer. This one was City Flyer. So that's how you do the 2 319 scenarios. Very easy scenarios, no problem, except for the odd, very tight timing that you can still make. But other than that, not a problem in these scenarios. Very casual scenarios. Not bad for a DLC for the train. Hopefully you made some of your own scenarios and can enjoy that train yourself. Or if you picked up the 2 319 packs from Armstrong Powerhouse that are enhancement packs for this pack, you can enjoy a lot of other variants of this train as well in other liveries. Branded or unbranded, depending what you prefer. And you're able to make very realistic scenarios using that. I've seen a lot of scenarios using these trains in them. So definitely take advantage of that if you don't already have it. Worthwhile pack to pick up the 319 enhancement pack from Armstrong Powerhouse. We'll look at that in the future as well. I want to get away from the 319 for right now, however, because I've been doing that for 3 weeks now, I think. So we'll look at something else next time. In the meantime, I hope to see you for the next scenario. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Have a wonderful day, evening, night, whatever it is for your part of the world. I'll see you next time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. I'm Cyclone. See you then. Bye-bye.